Not on the national level, but yes, he is still out there. Before I spoke out, I felt I felt a little bit scared, or I felt intimidated, or maybe just, just the feeling of uncertainty. I'm not sure what's going to happen if I speak out, but now I actually feel liberated, and I don't know, but I hope that this is moving toward a direction that I hope for, which is making a change. So I definitely feel like this is moving toward a good direction. At the very, very least, if nothing else happens, we are creating a greater awareness. I get asked this question a lot. Why now? Why didn't I say it back then? So if you jog back your memory to 25 years ago, I'm not sure how old you guys are now and how old the audience will be, but if you rewind back to when you were 13, I still remember when I was 13, I didn't have that kind of relationship with my parents to tell them that, hey, look, somebody touched me. Or it just wasn't like that. And there's no infrastructure. Who am I supposed to tell? If I were to actually tell an authoritative figure, nobody would believe me. Nobody. Because actually in the swimming world, a lot of people know about this. A lot of people know of this perpetrator because he has done this to several other people, but nothing has been done. So people of authority always have the final say. I felt violated. I was put in a position where it was extremely difficult for me to say no, or actually it just wasn't possible for me to say no because I was lying down on my bed. He told me to take a nap, and he was kneeling down next to the bed, right next to me, like literally right next to me. And then his hand started, at first was there calming me, and then it started moving. So I was just very uncomfortable, but I didn't know how to say no. So the awareness back then, I think I was one of those who I just wasn't educated enough at that time on this issue, on sexual harassment. I didn't even know that this is wrong. I mean, I knew that it was wrong, but it didn't occur to me to report it to the police, because I guess a 13-year-old back then in 1997 wouldn't know this. I have to thank Ayn. She's the real brave one. And she's inspired me to come out to speak about this. And a lot of people know that sexual harassment happens in the workplace, it's rampant in workplace. We know that it happens in religious setting. We know it happens a lot in the showbiz industry, but people don't really know that it happens in sports. And I wanted to tell people that yes, it's happening in sports. And ever since I opened up to talk about it, a lot of people also contacted me and told me their story. So they're telling me that they have been harassed one way or other as well, but they're not willing to come out to the public yet. I think I went to his apartment because he told me he wanted to show me something, possibly a book on swimming or something along those lines. And he actually lives, at that time, he actually lives pretty nearby to where I am. So I just can't remember why I ended up in his apartment. This was daytime. So he took a shower and came out in his towel and grabbed my hand. So I found myself in an extremely uncomfortable position, but it just didn't occur to me to report the case. So he definitely tried, because he grabbed me, not violently. When I say grab, I think people are thinking like violently. So no, he grabbed my hand and to himself, and then I brought me to the bed, and he definitely tried. And so I was all clothed. I left after that. He is a bisexual pedophile. He grooms. So what he would do is to make the child think that he is interested.
So Cindy, at that time when you were 13, was he grooming you in that sense?
Yes. So I thought he was interested in me, because ever since I spoke out, one male came up to me and told me that he was harassed by the same coach since 1988. Because I know that this coach has done this to other people. And when I approach them, either they tell me, no, I don't want to talk about it, or one girl even said, no, he didn't do anything to me. But we have eyewitness. My friend actually saw what they were doing, and she said, no, he didn't do anything to me. She was 15, he was in his 30s. He was obviously grooming her, but maybe she was led to believe that he wasn't sexually harassing her. She was led to believe that he really liked her. And she's a minor. Not on the national level, but yes, he is still out there. He's actually someone who's quite successful in the swim industry and quite looked up on. So he's more of an authority figure in this industry. I've spoken to lawyers, I've spoken to law enforcement officers, and my case is too cold. And they're basically telling me that because there aren't any eyewitness, and in sexual harassment cases, you need eyewitness. Like in rape cases, you need eyewitness. But chances are, how do you, usually when someone's gonna rape someone, they're gonna ensure that no one is watching, right? So it's a very, very difficult, it's a very difficult case. And this happened so many years ago. I don't think revealing his name would be good, because definitely not now, because I will be in a defamation lawsuit, and then I have to appear in court, and I'll be caught in between so many different things. So I have a bigger vision, because I know of this, I know this person did this, one person, and I'm talking about one person, but there are so many of people like him. I want to net way more than just one person. Why go through the hassle of, going through so many things to catch one person? I want to cast a much wider net. They're not willing to talk about it. I have asked if they are willing to speak to the media. There's one very high-profile athlete who reached out to me, not swimming. Yeah, I can't reveal, because so she revealed to me. Actually, it's a female, and the perpetrator is a female as well. None of the ministers actually reached out to me. In Rina Harun, nobody from the entire umbrella, none of them, but several NGOs have. Awam did, Women's Center for Change in Penang, they did, a few student activist groups, Stand Up Malaysia and Light Malaysia, so a few of them did as well. So in the National Sports Council, they do have something set up. As Dato' Shapawi mentioned in his statement, there is something already set up. However, I do think that 99% of the athletes are not aware of that. I have asked a lot of my athlete friends, none of them knew the existence of that. That's one. Two, I think that if the problem exists within the fraternity and you set something up under that same umbrella, people are not going to go to that same source. You know what I mean? If I have a problem with the association, I am not going to just go up there, or maybe I would, but who's going to listen to me, because I would need to talk to a third party. So I think what's more efficient and helpful, more constructive way to do things would actually to channel all these complaints or anything at all to a third party where it's non-biased and they can do the assessment themselves. Safe sport. I think Malaysia is one of the countries where we don't have safe sport yet. So we can, can look it up on Google. There's a whole entire guideline on safe sport. So America uses it, Singapore uses it. I think a lot of the more developed nations, they have safe sport policy in place, and we still don't. That will be a pretty effective mechanism to filter out, and obviously they got to do background checks. And I think here it is not common practice to do background checks. We already have chaperones since a long time ago. We have chaperones, but these things can happen. Usually happens in the toilet or in the bedroom where the chaperones are not there. And if you have a team of 50 people and one chaperone, 50 people are maybe two to a room. When you go for overseas assignment, you have 2 girls in a room, and that's 25 rooms of female, and the chaperone has to look after male as well. So I think recently there are also more female. There's also an influx of females into the management side of things, but it's still very heavily toward male. So, but having said that, sexual harassment doesn't just happen to female, it just tends to happen more to female. I would like the bill to be tabled so that other people don't have to go through what I went through. I am a mother of 3, and I definitely don't want my kids to have to go through what I'm going through, and that's why I'm pushing hard for the bill to be tabled, and also probably advocate a little bit more harsher punishment rather than just catching someone and a slap on the hand and let go. I think I definitely would like for harsher punishment for sexual harassers, because it starts with just one thing, and these people, maybe they will, they're well known for grooming, so it starts with one thing and then they will, they're not caught, so they move on to the next thing, and then it gets bigger and it gets bigger and bigger and it gets bigger. I mean, this is just one step away from rape.